I'm sorry. I'm sorry I dropped you. I had to say the declaration.
No, don't be. I would have done exactly the same thing to you.
Really?
Hello and welcome to Cruise Next. My name is James Albarn. I'm joined as ever by Elsa Grace. How are you, Elsa?
Hello, I'm doing very well, thank you.
If you haven't heard the podcast before, the concept's very simple. We watch a film, we pick a member of the crew from that film out of a choice of 3 crew members, and that picks our next film. We have arrived at National Treasure, the Nicolas Cage classic, courtesy of the storyboard artist Benton Jew.
Benjamin Franklin Gates, you are undertaking the duty of the family Gates to find the most spectacular treasure in history. It grew throughout the ages and moved across continents until it was hidden by America's founding fathers, who left clues to the treasure's location right before our eyes. The unfinished pyramid, the all-seeing eye, are telling us something. Keeping this treasure safe, Benjamin, is your destiny.
You're treasure hunters, aren't you?
We're more like treasure protectors.
All his life, Benjamin Gates has searched for a treasure no one believed existed.
Don't you get it, Ben? The treasure is a myth.
Dad, I refuse to believe that.
But what he thought was the final clue
108 years of searching and I'm 3 feet away.
is only the beginning.
The Declaration of Independence.
You think there is a treasure map on the back of the Declaration of Independence.
The map is invisible.
Why would we make this up?
Where's your proof?
We don't have it.
Riley, get down!
Did Bigfoot take it?
Word about the map is bound to get out. Ian's gonna try to steal it. 90 seconds. The only way to protect the Declaration is to steal it.
What?
I'm gonna steal the Declaration of Independence.
Ben?
From producer Jerry Bruckheimer and director Jon Turteltaub.
It is surrounded by guards and video monitors and little kids on their 8th grade field trip. You will go to prison, you know that, right?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, go!
Get out of there. Get out of there now.
He's got the bloody map.
The clues of 10 generations
There's more to the riddle.
will reveal a mystery 20 centuries in the making.
Who wants to go down the creepy tunnel inside the tomb first?
Tell me what the next clue is.
What do you see?
Nicolas Cage. National Treasure.
Arguably the best thing that came out of 2004.
Arguably, and exactly. Elsa,
Yes.
why don't you tell our lovely listeners what National Treasure is about?
I could very much quote this movie from start to finish.
Well, we'll be testing that.
But I will not do that. I will give a brief summary as per. So yes, National Treasure came out in 2004, directed by Jon Turteltaub. I do apologize, John. We're still on just a first name basis. I actually don't know his surname. Next time we're at the pub, John, I'll ask you. Essentially follows the life of the Gates family, a family of treasure hunters who are after this infamous treasure hidden by the Freemasons hundreds of years ago that they began collecting, arguably from the dawn of time, James. There's some very old artifacts in there, dating back to the ancient Greeks, actually, I believe.
The scrolls from Alexandria.
The Library of Alexandria. Gosh, guess we know who didn't take notes in the movie. And essentially, Nicolas Cage plays Benjamin Franklin Gates. He is the youngest of the Gates family, continuing in the legacy that his sort of grandfather told him about back in 1974 on a rainy day in their attic. His father, Patrick, played by Jon Voight, thinks it's a waste of time. And he is the black sheep of the family, I believe, because he has health insurance and a job and a car. So we are essentially following Ben Gates on this quest, which leads him to steal the Declaration of Independence.
Can I just say to that point, though, why would Nicolas Cage not have health insurance?
Because he can't hold down a job because he's too busy hunting down treasure. That's why. And as we know, the healthcare system in America is notoriously a shit show.
But really, if anyone in this film needs potential health insurance, probably Nicolas Cage.
It's not, that's
he gets
not,
into all sorts of dangerous situations.
Yeah, but it's not, it doesn't fit the profile of a badass treasure hunter historian. Does Lara Croft have health insurance?
Probably.
Does Indiana Jones?
Probably.
I really don't think so. I mean, Lara Croft probably because NHS lives in the UK, you know?
Yeah,
Indiana
so she's
Jones.
fine. Yeah, she shouldn't need it.
Yeah.
Actually, she's quite rich though, isn't she as well? So she could probably.
She's on that private care. She's got that private ward. Yeah.
Yeah.
Indiana Jones. I mean, it's a miracle that he made it to 80 without health insurance, but he is a professor. He's got tenure, I think.
Yeah.
We get off the. Should we circle back? Should we circle back to the summary?
The name of this episode may have to be though. Lara Croft has Booper, but
Lara Croft has Booper, and Nicolas Cage is a treasure hunter.
Yeah.
So him and his pals, the ragtag kid Riley, who they found in a windowless cubicle, and Diane Kruger, who is quite possibly the most, incredible historian there ever were.
Dr. Abigail Chase.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Head off together to find this treasure. And their plans are somewhat scuppered by Sean Bean, who intends to steal the Declaration of Independence.
Bastard!
But don't worry, because Nicolas Cage and his group of cronies get there first.
Yeah. That, everybody, is National Treasure.
Spoiler alert, they find the treasure.
They find the treasure at the end, don't they? So while we actually watched this film together, it's the first time we did that.
Was it?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah. We haven't watched any other films together.
Yes, I'm sure.
Which film? Which other film did we watch together?
Right.
No, we didn't. So this is the first film we watched together.
It's just because we've watched things together, but not for the focus of the podcast.
Oh, yeah. We've watched a film together before.
Yeah, scarred into my memory.
Well, have we?
Yes, I'm sure. This is not relevant to the podcast.
I'm not sure we actually have.
Well, okay, so we've watched sports together and we've been to the cinema, I'm sure.
I don't think we've been to the cinema.
Oh, God.
I think this is the first film we ever watched. No, but
why do we do this podcast together?
No, but this is a big moment. That was the first film we ever watched together. I think.
I don't think.
I really maybe.
Don't.
Anyway.
We'll have a think.
All right, well,
Cut this out.
I'm not cutting it out. It's going straight in. This is what the listeners love. But anyway, while we were watching the film, I realized that Elsa is clearly a National Treasure fan, and she would often quote lines from National Treasure. So
I would just like to say though, when you watch something more than once as a child, I feel like it can't just be me, that it does just stay in your head. Like I could probably sing lyric for lyric every song from the Hilary Duff movie.
I mean, I was quoting School of Rock last night when it was on.
I mean, easy. So, I feel like, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But yeah, for sure. I mean, this film, sorry to any American listeners, but this is very much just the height of our knowledge of American history. As far as I know, it's all true.
I think, to be fair, I think it is pretty accurate, even the stuff with the treasure.
Yeah. And I did say when we were watching it, I said, I hope that there are no robbers watching this film, because now they know exactly how to steal the Declaration of Independence.
From those royalty-free steel doors that close in on the...
James.
Yeah.
In the preservation room.
Nah, it's not royalty free. CGI's just aged badly. National. So I thought it'd be a good idea to quiz Elsa on her knowledge of National Treasure.
I'm ready. Oh no. Now I'm nervous. My palms.
It starts off easy. So I got 10 questions.
Spaghetti.
I've got 10 quickfire questions.
No, not quick
No,
fire.
they're not quickfire, but there's no multiple choice either because I couldn't be bothered to think of.
That's
like,
fine. Also, multiple choice is for losers.
Well, yeah, I figured it would make it easier for you as well, so I didn't want to do that because, as we know. But I've started off easy, so this should be an easy question for you. Question 1. What does the secret lie with?
The secret lies with Charlotte.
Correct. And bonus points if you can tell me what Charlotte is.
She's a ship.
She is a ship.
She's a beauty.
What is the fake name? Oh, this is good. This is good wording of a question. I'm going to read exactly how I wrote it at about 8:30 this morning. What is the fake name does Ben Gates give? What is the fake name that Ben Gates gives when he first meets Abigail?
Paul Brown.
Correct.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Okay, we're turning up the heat now a little bit.
I feel it.
What is the name of Harvey Keitel's FBI agent character?
Agent Sandusky.
Correct. Technically, it's Sadusky. There's no N, but I'll give you.
What did I say? Sandusky.
You said Sandusky, but I always thought it was Sandusky. But according to IMDb, it's just Sadusky.
I mean, that's
don't know
written
if
by
that's a
fans.
typo.
Clueless fans. They don't know. Right to Harvey.
What is the time on the back of the $100 bill?
Oh, God.
For Ben and the gang to find the glasses at Independence Hall? They focus on this a lot. This is because there's the whole thing about the...
Right, but do you want it daylight savings or do you want it after daylight savings? Because the time in my head is 3:22 p.m.
So what is it on the back of the dollar bill?
2:22. Daylight savings would make it 3:22.
Okay, I'm going to give you that.
Okay.
Technically, the time on the back of the bill is 2:20. They check their watches, and it's... Actually, how's that?
No, it's not. It's not. I'm so sure.
Anyway, I'll give you that. Correct. I'm not going to focus on whether I got the question wrong.
Fight me.
Which president was Ben's great-great-great-grandfather supposed to give a message to? This is in the prologue where his grandfather is explaining stuff to him in the attic of the house or the basement of the house.
Andrew Jackson.
Correct. 5 out of 5. What book?
I've seen this so many times, this film.
What book does Ben's father keep
Common
some money in?
Sense.
Correct. I didn't think you get that one. What church is the treasure eventually hidden underneath?
The Trinity Church.
Correct. This one's easy.
On the corner of Wall Street and here. Is that right? Did I get Trinity Church right?
Trinity Church is right, yeah. This one's easy.
Well, don't say that.
Finish the sentence.
Okay.
The vision to see the treasured past comes as the timely shadow crosses in front of the house of...
Parson Stowe.
Correct. Oh my god.
From John Parson, John Stowe, who cast the Liberty Bell.
Who is Ian's friend that dies on the way down to the treasure?
Sure.
Correct.
Sure.
And the final question for 10 out of 10 for 100% in your National Treasure quiz to win the treasure. What does Ben jump off of to escape the FBI? Now, there is a vague answer you could give, but I kind of want the actual name of the thing.
That's not fair because I've never been to that part of America. I know, so it's the observation deck on the pier, but I can't think of the name of the pier.
See, I'm not going to be able to give you any of that because it's not a pier.
So, no, it's the ship. It's the observation deck of the ship of the... Yes, oh, come on. It's the one that Will Smith plays golf off of.
In I Am Legend.
I can't think of the ship's name, but does that count?
I'll give you a point
the
for
observation
saying,
deck of the ship.
Yeah, and the aircraft carrier that he jumps off of is the USS Intrepid.
I wouldn't have got it.
Now, when the Declaration is on display, okay, it is surrounded by guards and video monitors and little families from Iowa and little kids on their 8th grade field trip. And beneath an inch of bulletproof glass is an army of sensors and heat monitors that will go off if someone gets too close with a high fever. Now, when it's not on display, it is lowered into a 4-foot thick, concrete, steel-plated vault that happens to be equipped with a electronic combination lock and biometric access denial systems.
You know, Thomas Edison tried and failed nearly 2,000 times to develop the carbonized cotton thread filament for the incandescent light bulb.
Edison?
And when asked about it, he said, I didn't fail. I found out 2,000 ways how not to make a light bulb, but he only needed to find one way to make it work.
I thought I'd made that quiz quite hard, but actually...
I think you
easy.
did. I just think I've seen this film too many times. I'm surprised that you didn't ask me when the Declaration of Independence was signed.
Well, I see.
Because
This was a debate in my head.
Right.
Let me talk you through what I was thinking when I was writing this quiz, because I was like, I could test her on, like, when's the Declaration signed? What is written on the back of the Declaration of Independence?
An Altenberg Code.
Yeah. But I thought the thing was, then I'm kind of testing you about history, not about the film National Treasure. Yeah. So I tried to keep it limited to National Treasure unless the historical thing was about like a specific clue.
And
like
had I got those wrong, I would have said, well, James, I didn't know this was a history test.
I know, and that's what I thought. I thought you'd give me attitude. So I decided to keep it limited to
100% A star. I'm writing this on my notebook for my test.
So, National Treasure. We all know it. We all love it. Although apparently not. Apparently, people don't love National Treasure as much as we do.
As much as me.
Or especially not as much as you. But.
So 6.9 on IMDb. 46% on Rotten Tomatoes, which I feel is a little harsh, but the audience rating is 76%, which we're getting there.
It's a film of the people.
It's a film of the people. It gives you what you want.
It's
got
people.
History. It's got romance.
It's got Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage chases John Voight.
Diane Kruger, who doesn't love her?
Who doesn't? I mean, Tarantino, apparently. Half choked her to death, didn't he?
Yeah, that is true. He did do that, yeah.
Oh, topical. Excellent movie all round. One for the kids, one for the family, one for the treasure hunter in you.
Okay, so here's a question for you.
Right.
You obviously love National Treasure. But do you think National Treasure is a good film?
Yes. Let me tell you why. I actually don't feel like I need to. I feel like I've just told you it has everything that you could want in a film.
We are doing a podcast.
Of the time about film. Of the time, CGI and things like that, when they're doing sort of like mentally going through the vault and how the Declaration of Independence will be kept in the preservation room and how it will get there and all of this sort of thing and the heat controlled sensors. That does not look great. It has aged badly, but it was almost 20 years ago.
Yeah, and also
so
to be fair, those bits are very brief. And actually, if there is CGI in the rest of the film,
you can't tell.
I mean, probably most of it is.
There's quite a lot of pyro stuff. Like,
yeah,
there were elements of the film that, plot wise, I don't love. I don't love that they blew up the Charlotte.
No, you got sad about that.
Flagrant disregard for history and precious
I don't think
artifacts
it's a
that
real
Ian has.
I don't think it's a real ship.
The Charlotte,
Yeah.
I won't know because everything in this film is absolute fact
It
as
all
far as I
happened,
know.
actually.
James. Yeah.
Yeah. This is actually based on a true story.
Yeah, it truly is.
They were actually thinking we'll make a documentary, and then
Shaw is still at the bottom
they thought
of that
we'll get
old
Sean
movie
Bean.
system. Yeah, it was. I mean, I really don't know why anyone would not like this movie. It's not a slow burn there, but
No, it's not actually. It does kick off quite quickly.
It kicks off quite quickly. You're on the edge of your seat. Where John Voight said, who plays Patrick, Ben's father, says the whole like, it's just another clue and then there'll be another clue and another clue. Like, I feel that there were a lot of clues.
Yeah.
Even when they got this declaration, several other clues, but then that just led to another clue. Like the Meerschaum pipe just led to another clue. Like everything, it took a very long time to get to the treasure, but that's what's so great about it. You don't think so?
No, I did.
Do you think it
did.
was long-winded?
No, I don't think it's long-winded at all. I'm trying to think whether I would. I'm trying to think what I would cut from this film. It is just over. I think it's 2 hours long, but it doesn't feel 2 hours long, to be honest. Because when you originally asked, like, "Oh, how long is it?" I thought it was 90 minutes because I remember it just being, boom, 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 and it is very fast-paced. And doesn't feel too long. I'm trying to think if there's anything you could cut. I mean, I don't know if you need the long, drawn out sort of prologue bit where his grandfather is explaining it all to him, but then I don't know how else you're necessarily going to explain what's going on.
Good.
They also do the Indiana Jones trick of young Ben looking down and then raising his head, and then he's cuts to Nicolas Cage, which is fun.
Yes, and I feel like this is the perfect opportunity to talk about the product placement of Canada Goose in this movie. If I had one thing to take out of this film, that would be it. Didn't love that. Obviously, as a brand, don't think anything of Canada Goose.
Different time.
Evil corporation. Different time, but also what was there was another bit of product placement that was really obvious with was it the watch, like a right leg. What was it?
He has a Rolex Submariner.
Was it Rolex?
And he takes it off to give to the
but there were also a couple of shots of him just like turning his wrist and that full shot of just the front of his
he's got a Rolex
clock.
on. Because then he also does the very obvious, like, can I see the $100 bill?
Yeah.
And she's like, no, because she's got an attitude.
And then he starts listing the assets of this
the watch. Yeah.
Waterproof up to 500 feet.
Yeah.
Didn't need that, did we?
That.
Yeah. So the product placement was a little painful in this film, but
also they're very obviously in whatever shop that is.
Oh, that was Urban Outfitters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're very obviously getting dressed in. But that's when you start their little romance.
And you see she does a little foot pop, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Talking to him, looking at him, being like, why does your dad think I'm pregnant?
I don't think she sounds like that.
I think that's exactly
You're
what
getting
she
confused with Sean Bean.
And also, like, I didn't love this bit where he's like, when he's kind of charming her the first time he goes to see her in the National Archives. And he's like, what's your accent? Is it Pennsylvania Dutch? And she's like, Saxony German. Like, guys, enough. Oh, just get a room. But also, I think that's a bit
essentially
creepy.
Kidnaps her.
Well, no, I mean, not really essentially. Like, he fully grabs her in a van.
Well, no.
To save her from Ian.
Yeah, Ian grabs her, puts her in a van. Then he grabs her out of that van, puts her in his van. And then he does say, you can go to her when they stop. But then she's like, I'm not going anywhere without the document. And he's like, well, bitch, I'm taking the document to my dad's house and we're going to pour some lemon on it.
And eat some pepperoni pizza.
Yeah. Do they eat pepperoni pizza?
Yeah, they go in the house and Jon Voight is there as an older man. We saw him earlier as a young man where he has the hair of Owen Wilson straightened. And
it does not. That bit is not convincing at all. They also have him without glasses as a young man.
Yeah, and then you can tell he's got them cataracts.
Yeah.
But yeah, he offers them pizza, and he's obviously not. He knows a thing or two. He knows they need heat with invisible ink.
He does.
He just chooses not to use his powers for treasure hunting.
He knows everything. I think if John Voight had tried, he could have found the treasure himself. He just didn't want to.
Yeah, I believe that. But I dick move donating the Silence Do Good letters to the Franklin Institute without telling anyone. I think that is a first of all.
Where are the letters, Dad?
Well, family heirloom, that, I mean, sure, that's huge and they're so valuable. Like if I had something like that in my possession and my family just gave it away without saying anything, I'd be a little PO'd. But
as was Nicolas Cage.
Yes, but I also can appreciate the indie stance of being like, it belongs in a museum. I get that too.
Also, as well, it then sets up a nice little sequence where the kid is running in to look at the letters and then running out.
I know, but then it just gives bloody Ian another opportunity to scupper their plans. Also, I feel like let's touch on the fact that Sean Bean, why don't they let that man let his Yorkshire flag fly?
Yeah.
They always make him posh when he's like the British villain or British whatever.
Is it because and this isn't me saying this is Hollywood saying this.
All right, go on, Hollywood.
Before we get angry letters.
Go on, Hollywood.
Is it because he's too northern to be rich?
Get out.
Because he's proper Yorkshire, isn't he, Sean Bean, in real life?
He's proper Yorkshire.
And is it that, and because Ian is the investor in the whole project, right? That's like his role at the start. And so is it that like, well, no one's going to believe that this man has enough money to invest in all this Canada Goose gear?
Those Hollywood bigots.
And maybe that's why they made him, because he's not really playing American, is he?
No, he's British. He's like posh English.
Ian.
He's like RP. Every now and again, they just slip a little bit.
Slip a little northern, yeah.
But, yeah, I think either they think he won't have enough money if he's Yorkshire. They think maybe people won't understand him.
That's another point.
That's another one. Or another one, I've never met someone from Yorkshire that I didn't like. And you need to have Ian be an unlikable character.
Yeah, Yorkshire's a bit like Yorkshire's likable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like,
posh,
also, like, no, I mean, love you, Yorkshire, but if Yorkshire man came up to me and said, I'm going to steal the Declaration of Independence, I'd be like,
no,
are you?
Nice try.
You'd laugh him out of Barclays, wouldn't you? You'd be like, get out.
Yeah, good one.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess for many reasons they made him posh.
Mr. Matlack can't offend. Timothy Matlack was the official scribe of the Continental Congress, calligrapher, not writer, and to make sure he could not offend the map, it was put on the back of a resolution that he transcribed, a resolution that 55 men signed. The Declaration of Independence.
Come on, there's no invisible map on the back of the Declaration of Independence.
That's clever, really. A document of that importance would ensure the map's survival. And you said there were several Masons signed it, yeah?
Yeah. 9 for sure.
We'll have to arrange a way to examine it.
This is one of the most important documents in history. They're not just going to let us waltz in there and run chemical tests on it.
And what do you propose we do?
I don't know.
We could borrow it.
Steal it? I don't think so.
Pen. The treasure of the Knights Templar is the treasure of all treasures.
Oh, I didn't know that, really.
Look, Ben, I understand your bitterness, I really do. You spent your entire life searching for this treasure, only to have the respected historical community treat you and your family with mockery and contempt. You should be able to rub this treasure in their arrogant faces, and I want you to have the chance to do that.
How?
We all have our areas of expertise. You don't think mine are limited to writing checks, do you? Another life. I arranged a number of operations of questionable legality.
I'd take his word for it if I were you.
So don't worry. I'll make all the arrangements.
Harvey Keitel.
Harvey Keitel, who I forgot was in this film, by the way.
I did not.
It is an all-star cast when you think about it.
It's
even
a killer
because
cast.
even Nicolas Cage's grandfather, who was only in one scene at start, is played by Christopher Plummer. And you're like, everyone's in this film.
How dare you bring him in for one scene? More flashbacks, please.
Yeah, but then it's Disney. They can afford it. They can afford to
That's true.
push the
But
boat
I
out.
will say, so I love Harvey Keitel. I think that he's excellent. I am fully convinced in absolutely everything that he ever does. First film I ever saw him in actually was
Apart from the Direct
Sister
Line
Act.
adverts.
Oh, well, I bought Direct Line. I'm on a 3-year contract.
Thanks to Harvey Keitel.
Thank you, Harvey. He does tend to, I mean, he's hugely typecast as an actor, but he does tend to often get these lovable FBI characters. Like, what was the other one that he did that I'm thinking of? Gina Davies and Susan Sarandon.
Bonnie and
Clyde.
Not Bonnie and Clyde. Sorry. What's it called? Thelma and
this
Louise.
is embarrassing. Thelma and Louise. Yeah. Same thing in that.
Bonnie and Clyde.
And turns out he's a Freemason.
Yes.
Don't love how the Freemasons was sort of like painted in this film as being like just utter nobility and just the height of, you know, good gentlemen protecting the treasure, and all of, like, very much glossed over the fact that, like, it was all stolen and smuggled out of Europe. And, like, also just Freemasons in general. There's a lot we could say on that. Did I ever tell you about the time where I've had many jobs? I've had many a job in my life. I worked as an exam board, like an examination officer. So, you know, when the kids do their exams, you walk around and you're like,
Invigilator.
yeah. Look, face the front, please.
Yeah.
And they go, my pencil's broken. And I'm like, you should have brought a spare.
Get a fucking new one.
Is that pencil case see-through? Because I can't see through it.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. I once did that at the Freemasons headquarters in London.
Whoa. That's is that like in is that like near Holborn?
Yeah.
Yeah. I walked past it recently. I was like, Freemasons.
It's an incredible building.
Yeah. Very
creepy. Just exactly as you'd imagined it. But what I hadn't expected, I also I'm probably going to get in trouble. I hope no one's listening to this from the Freemasons.
No one listens to this podcast. It's fine.
Oh, that's fine. Hi, Mum. I snuck up to the altar room. It very much felt like sacrifices had happened there, you know? Like, also they were building like staging and like higher seating. It felt very, you know, One of Us, Hot Fuzz. But what was really funny was that in the whole building, I could not find a ladies' bathroom. Everywhere you went was just men's bathrooms, because obviously they don't let women into their society. They do have like a women's section now because it's 2021.
Got to move with the times, guys.
Yeah, come on. Modern as they get.
No treasure for you.
No, and no toilet for you. I also walked into the robe room and almost tried on one of their robes, but I was too scared. I did very little invigilating that day.
I knew someone. I won't say who they were or give a clue as to who they were, but I think his family were like Freemasons, and he was like desperately trying to like get them to include him in becoming a Freemason, or he was like massively keen on becoming a Freemason, and everyone else in this group of people that I won't mention were sort of like, do you want to do that? When, you know?
So you have to be invited in.
Yeah, he went on about it a lot.
Yeah, I can see.
Which I also
if I was a young white man, I could see the benefits.
Well, I don't even know what you get.
I mean, you know, there's a lot of like black tie events, I think, but also the Freemasons get to do a lot legally, get to do a lot of crazy shenanigans that other people don't. For example,
It's a bit like Scientology. They're like, because they're like got religious status or whatever.
No, as in like
religion,
historically, no one has been bothered to change the laws over what Freemasons can do.
Oh.
So, for example, once a year, a Freemason may shepherd a flock of goats or sheep across London Bridge. A Freemason may walk among the city of London with with a sword with no sheath.
Sick.
Yeah. So do you see what I'm saying? Like, if I were a young white man, I might want to walk across London with my sword, you know?
Yeah.
I've got some livestock maybe that might like to see London Bridge.
Yeah.
So it's just a bit of a wild organization, isn't it?
I want to see how easy it would be to join. I bet it's quite difficult to join, but.
I mean, you have to be invited. My dad was invited.
Oh.
Did I tell you?
No.
Yeah, he was, I couldn't really tell you why. He was a mysterious man. But yeah, I was invited to be a Freemason and I think he said no.
Just like that?
Just like that. You do know you just handed me your biggest bargaining chip.
Declaration of Independence is not a bargaining chip. Not to me.
Have a seat. So what's your offer?
Oh, how about a bribe? Say, $10 billion?
I take it you found the treasure.
It's about 5 stories beneath your shoes.
You know, the Templars and the Freemasons believed that the treasure was too great for any one man to have. Not even a king. That's why they went to such lengths to keep it hidden.
That's right. The Founding Fathers believed the same thing about government. I figure their solution will work for the treasure, too.
Give it to the people.
Divide it amongst the Smithsonian, the Louvre, the Cairo Museum. There's thousands of years of world history down there, and it belongs to the world and everybody in it.
But you know who is a Freemason? Nicolas Cage in National Treasure.
No, he's not. Oh, at the end, is he becoming on? Yeah.
No, he is.
He becomes a protector of the treasure. No, he's not a Freemason.
I thought the family were Masons.
No.
What?
No. They're treasure hunters. They're not Freemasons. And it's not hereditary.
National Treasure.
God, did you even watch the film? Harvey
is, yeah.
And I think he actually, like, he makes him some kind of honorary something at the end.
And they get 0.5%.
No, well, yeah, they get 1%. He accepts 1%, which means Riley gets 0.5%.
Which Riley does as much work as Nicolas Cage in the,
does as much work as Diane Kruger. It should have been a third, is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Just because they've shacked up together in Lara Croft's house doesn't mean that she should get 0.25%. Well, that doesn't make sense. Yeah. I mean, he for sure did not share that with her because oh no, yeah, she didn't get fuck all, did she? Because he said, I want the credit for the find of the treasure to go to the entire Gates family with the assistance of Mr. Riley Poole.
Which, at that point, it cuts to Riley and he like smiles like, yay, I was the assistant. I'm like, right, you did a lot more. You put your life at risk for this.
He put his life at risk.
You should get the shared credit.
He would not have found it without Ben.
But Ben would not have found it without Riley. He wouldn't have been able to steal the Declaration of Independence to start because Riley knew all that technology shit where he put the wire up the pipe and it connected to a pipe.
Yeah, so we are curious if there's anyone out there who works with the MI6. You don't need to give us your name or your status.
Disguise your voice. We'll make it be all like...
But if you would like to come on for a brief interview and just tell us if some of the gadgets in this film are real, that would be lovely. Predominantly, this is the one that we can't seem to get over, is the wire with the little hand at the end that when it clips onto another wire, shows you the live feed coming out of that port.
Which is... And it's not like it would make sense if he unplugged the wire that's already going into the port and plugged in his own new wire. Mm-hmm. That would make sense. But he just sort of like sticks it onto the other wire.
But I think that's because the point of that would be that that's very detectable.
Yeah, no, I get that. But then like also it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. So... MI6, get in touch.
Get in touch.
Or any white hat hackers out there. We'll also very happy to deal with you. And Freemason. Yeah, if any Freemason, we're open.
We'll basically have anyone on as long as you're not like a massive racist or something.
Yeah, we draw the line.
We draw the
line at racists.
If you're in a weird cult, fine. Racists, no.
Yeah. I'm also going to just say like Nazis, if there are any Nazis who are like, well, I'm not a racist, we'll also not have you.
But it's implied. I think if you're a Nazi, you are an implied racist.
If there are any Nazis out there who are going, I'm not racist, we still don't want you to come on to the podcast.
Though, they just are. They cannot think they are. That's a
conversation that we don't need to have with them. That's between them and God.
Here's what I want. Dr. Chase gets off completely clean. Not even a little posted on her service record.
Okay.
Well, I want the credit for the fine to go to the entire Gates family with the assistance of Mr. Riley Poole.
What about you?
I'd really love not to go to prison. I can't even begin to describe how much I would love not to go to prison.
Someone's got to go to prison, man.
Is there anything that you really wanted to... Because you've made notes.
I know, but my notes, but I mostly just enjoyed the ride. I was in it for the ride, you know?
We had Thai food.
We did. We made a whole evening of it.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know why anyone wouldn't like this film. I'm truly baffled at that 24% on IMDb that did not rate this movie. Get in touch. Tweet me. At me. I don't know. I don't have those social media platforms, but I'm baffled.
Do you think it's just because it's like it's kind of like a kid's popcorny film, and so those things are never really like reviewed that highly, you know? They're not like, it's not, there's nothing like, and this isn't me slagging it off because it is what it is, but there's nothing like groundbreaking. You know, it's not like doing anything new. It's just another treasure hunter film.
I mean,
with some nice references to other.
Tell me one other treasure hunter film that isn't Lara Croft or Indiana Jones, which I don't really think they're treasure hunting films. But like, tell me another treasure hunting film.
But it's of that ilk, isn't it? It's of that genre.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, this is good old-fashioned treasure hunting.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's not doing anything new. It's just doing.
But it's doing it in a new way because it's set in like a modern... Is it doing it in a new
way, though? Because
who else stole the Declaration of Independence, James?
Yeah,
they shot for the stars and they scored, all right? I also just think that I know how you're saying like predominantly like this is a kid's film, this is Disney. Yes, it is, but actually like when you
apart
really,
from the bit
really
where
think about
Diane Kruger has a map to her vagina.
She has a map to her vagina. That highlight.
Yeah.
Highlight that. Rate that. But I think she probably could have put more effort into it because first of all, you don't give someone the map with the treasure right next to the map. You hide it.
You
so
want
she
him
shouldn't
to
have been
have
there.
to do clues, have to go across America, have to steal some important shit to then end up.
Yeah.
What if the map to her vagina was that he had to steal the Declaration of Independence again? That would be a sequel.
That should have been the sequel.
And then at the end, you figure out that the actual Book of Secrets is Diane Kruger's vagina.
It's a well-kept secret.
No, sorry, I interrupted you though, because you were saying about...
Oh, yes. So, ultimately, yes, it is a children's film. It is on Disney. But really, like, in terms of, like, plot, in terms of, like, the history and the artifacts, and look at me circling back to the history that is most likely fabricated, I don't believe that is, like, of the caliber of a child's film. I think what would stop it from being,
film,
like...
isn't it, I think?
Right, but what would make it not an adult film? Because it's not got, like, gratuitous violence in it? Because it's not
I'm not saying it's a children's film in the, like, I don't think that's a bad thing. It's
like,
a film the family can enjoy. But it's in the vein of, like, Pirates of the Caribbean that had come out, I want to say, like, a couple of years before. It's like that kind of, like, family-friendly Disney... like adventure film. There's actually even a moment where at the very end where he puts the pipe into the stone thing and some pan pipes play, and they're actually playing one of the musical motifs from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Well,
it's like a little
I said
reference.
when we were watching it, didn't we? I was like, it's very Pirates, this score. I mean, so I think actually that the soundtrack for this film was very good. I thought it was very exciting. I didn't think it was overdone, but yeah, it's the same vein, isn't it?
I think it's very of that period of Pirates of the Caribbean, National Treasure. You had those films, like the Mummy films with Brendan Fraser. It's like that sort of, there was an adventure buzz in the early noughties where we were sort of like going, and it was kind of harking back to like the Indiana Jones films and, you know, those kind of adventure films that were kind of, I guess maybe at that point in time seen as a bit passé. I mean, it was very passé to do pirates until Pirates of the Caribbean came along and reinvigorated the whole thing. And up until, like, everyone was like, why are you doing a pirates film? No one wants to watch pirates films anymore. You know, and if they did this one today, I think if they did National Treasure today, I think it would be a lot more comedy focused. I think it would be much closer to something like the new Jumanji films that you've got with like The Rock and Jack Black and Kevin.
Think?
I think just because of the way, like, I'm not saying it should be like this. Like, I think National Treasure is a better film for not being like this.
No, but I
like,
don't
because it
think
treats
that
it
would...
seriously. But I just feel like, I might be completely speaking out my arse on this, but I just feel like, you know, you look at the current crop of sort of Disney, well, not necessarily Disney, but like Jungle Cruise is the new one at the moment with Emily Blunt and The Rock and Jack Whitehall and stuff. And again, that's in the vein of like the new Jumanji films.
Honestly, I thought that was one of the Jumanji films.
What, the Jungle Cruise thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it looks basically the same.
Looks exactly the same.
And so I think you would get a very different film. I think you would have a much more conventional, in sort of inverted commas, like action hero playing the lead. Because I think that's the interesting thing about, I mean, Nicolas Cage has done a lot of action films and he is, in a sense, like a leading man action guy because he's done it a lot. But also, he's not the conventional, like, you think of Indiana Jones, you think Harrison Ford, like sort of charming, good, like conventionally sort of good looking. And you think of who it would be now, it'd probably be like a Chris Pratt or you know.
And you look at Chris Pratt and you don't think historian.
Yeah, and it would be that kind of thing where you would watch it and go, I do not believe that Chris Pratt is a historian right now. Like, I just don't believe it.
Do you know who could maybe get away with it?
Like, I don't believe Rita Ora is a scientist in Detective Pikachu, but she is.
Oh, God, don't get us started again on Rita Ora. I just...
Sorry, you know
that
who?
clipboard kills me. Who am I thinking of that I think could get away in a modern day National Treasure? Who he played... he was in Star Trek and the new Star Trek.
Chris Pine. Yeah.
Chris Pine.
But even then, he's quite sort of rugged, good looking.
He's rugged, good looking, but he's also in like an unconventional way. Like, I reckon you could probably see him out and about and tooting, you know, and you'd be like, that's some good looking guy.
Yeah.
Like, and it wouldn't throw you too much. Whereas there are a lot of like pretty boy Hollywood actors now who I think they would cast wrongly.
Or maybe someone like a Jeremy Renner. Because I recently watched Arrival. I don't know if you've seen that.
No.
But he plays a scientist in that. And it's not like weird, you know? He's like a good-looking guy, definite like action hero material. But then also he's a good enough actor that he pulls off like, oh, I can believe this guy being like, he's just one of them good-looking scientists, you know?
Also, societally, it is doing us a lot of damage to have these hunks playing your average Joe, because everyone's like, we're just getting so confused over what the norm is, you know, and what real people look like. Like,
I mean, that's not to say.
I love that Adam Driver is now a complete heartthrob.
Yeah.
I love Adam Driver, but he looks like a bloke that you'd see in Down Your Local, you know, like I think that's nice and normal. We don't need any more like Brad Pitts playing plumbers.
But that's not to say like, I mean, obviously it's still a pretty good looking cast. Like, I don't know if women find Nicolas Cage attractive. There probably is lots of women that find Nicolas Cage attractive.
Yeah, hit us up because I don't see that.
Conventionally attractive. But I mean, like Diane Kruger is obviously very good
I
looking.
mean, she's the eye candy in this film. Her and Sean Bean.
It's not. We're not saying it's an ugly cast.
It's not an ugly cast, but
it's
like
not it's not like the typical like they haven't gone and cast Chris Pratt to be a like historian guy who's obsessed with, like, I can believe when I look at Nicolas Cage in this film, I can believe that he's a bit like a treasure obsessed guy, and I think he plays it very well. He reels off the.
I think this was perfect casting
because he reels off the. He's really good because Nicolas Cage can be very weird with delivery, which is one of the fun aspects of Nicolas Cage. But when he's reeling off like historical facts, it would be very easy for an actor to be reeling off those lines as if they are like reading it internally from their script that they'd read, you know? Whereas Nicolas Cage delivers that stuff very well, as
he's
if
so excited by what he's saying.
As if he is like absorbed in this stuff, rather than just like an actor reading off the lines.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Hi.
Abigail Chase.
Paul Brown.
Nice to meet you.
Bill.
Nice to meet you, Bill. How may I help you?
Well, your accent. Pennsylvania Dutch?
Saxony German.
Oh.
You're not American?
Oh, I am an American. I just wasn't born here. Please don't touch that.
Sorry, a neat collection. George Washington's campaign buttons. You're missing the 1789 inaugural, though. I found one once.
That's very fortunate for you. You told my assistant that this was an urgent matter?
Yes, ma'am. Well, I'm going to get straight to the point. Someone's going to steal the Declaration of Independence.
I mean, you've got to remember, Nicolas Cage is an Oscar-winning actor, so he is very good.
He is. And I think that actually, like, I like his weird deliverance of like that bit where he's like talking about who's he talking about? To Diane Kruger at the gala in the National Archives, and he's like, blah blah blah, had their hands cut off, had their entrails cut off, and burned. That was great. I thought that was so good. But like, I think the casting of him was great. I think the casting of Justin Bartha was great. I think that he's a hilarious guy, although I very much think he can only play one role now. I am of that opinion, but he plays it very, very well. Like lovable geek.
Yeah, I do think that is one aspect of the film that I'm less keen on, is not him, but I think some of the humor sometimes does just like fall a bit flat.
Right, but
like
so
some
this
of the jokes don't really land.
Nowadays, that kind of humor in like a serious movie or whatever is very commonplaces that having that light comedic relief. But actually, like back in 2004, that film, that his like interjecting every now and again like was quite funny. Like when he's in the car and he's like half asleep and they're like going a million miles an hour together, Diane and Nicholas, and they're just like, yeah, we need this and we need this and we need clothes and we need, and he's like, yes, I would also like that, but we have no money. Like, he very much kind of grounds it again and brings it back to.
Well, he's the viewer in a sense, isn't he? He's kind of is and he isn't, because he is also, his character is also very intelligent himself, which is one thing I do like, is that they don't just make him
dumb,
the idiot character who's just along for this, because otherwise you'd be like, why is this guy here?
He's kind of more the relatable one for the audience, and I think that that's important to have in a film like this, because like, oh God, as much as I love this film, I suppose I can maybe see how it's slightly improbable. And he is the person in that reacts the way that we would react.
Yeah.
Crying when he sees the stairs at the end of the movie.
That's the funniest bit from him, I think.
He's just good. I just like Justin a lot. I think he's very good. But yeah, he does play the same character in like everything he does.
Had we lost the war, they would have been hanged, beheaded, drawn and quartered, and oh, my personal favorite, had their entrails cut out and burned. So, here's to the men who did what was considered wrong in order to do what they knew was right. What they knew was right. Well, good night.
Good night.
If you had to rate it out of 5 scrolls from the Library of Alexandria, how many scrolls from the Library of Alexandria would you give this film? You can give it 5 if you want to give it 5.
Well, I want to, but I feel like I should save my 5.
Yeah, but what better film to give it to?
And do you know what? I've got loads of 5s in the bank. 5 scrolls from the Library of Alexandria.
I'm going to go for... See, I can't even remember what I've rated. We should start a spreadsheet of what we've rated films so we can compare. But I'm going to give this... fuck it. I'm going to give National Treasure 4...
Point.
No, 4. I was going to give it 3.5, but I'm going to give it 4. I'm going to be kind, because actually National Treasure is one of those films that when people mention it, and I even picked it as a kind of like out of the 3 options, I picked it as like the non-serious option, like, oh, it'd be funny to laugh at National Treasure. And actually, when you go back and watch it, it's like, no, this is a pretty fun ride. And it's like, it's a bit of a romp, and you don't have to take it too seriously. But I also think it takes itself seriously enough that you can invest in it. Like, it takes like the sort of historical aspect. Again, I don't know how much of it is true, but it takes the sort of historical aspect of it pretty seriously. It is a bit slightly jingoistic American, like, America, which I'm not always keen on, but in general, National Treasure, it's a pretty good film. And if you haven't seen it in a while, go back and watch it, because actually I think you'll have fun. Also, it's shot pretty beautifully. Like, there's not really any sort of very chaotic shots that make me a bit anxious, or like there's no sort of dodgy camera work or handheld chases. I think it's all done really nicely. I think it's filmed in quite an old school kind of way, and I mean that in a good way. Like, I think it is almost filmed a bit like how those old Indiana Jones films would be filmed. Like, the camera's pretty static, it's not all handheld, and like the chase scenes are done well, and just like, it's kind of like, it's not flashy directing at all, but it's just like, it's sort of like good nuts and bolts stuff. It's the kind of thing of like, if you were going to go, this is how to direct an action sequence, like, just, this is the basics of directing an action sequence. I don't mean basics in a bad
Well
way.
done, Jon Turteltaub.
Yeah.
I like, it's not, so what and what I think I mean by that is like for example, Guy Ritchie action scenes or chase scenes, they're sort of, it reflects the chaos of the running and the panic of the whatever, and it's very handheld and it's very jolty, and it's not. And so often you're like, oh my god, what am I looking at? Like, what? I don't. Who's where? Where are they? Like, who's going? Like, it's a lot. Whereas this, like, there's a lot of like cutting in the chase scenes. Like, do you remember when they're chasing Riley and through like the butchers or whatever and through the market? I never for a second was I like lost or wondering who was where or like, it was really clear. And I guess that's, it's Disney, it's a kid's film, but it was really clear and I liked that. I thought it was nice and easy on the eyes.
So what are we watching next?
Ooh, okay. So your options from the crew of National Treasure.
Give them all medals.
We have the editor, William Goldenberg.
Right.
We have the composer, Trevor Rabin. And we have stunt woman, Nina Armstrong.
Oh. Presumably filling in for Diane Kruger.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily. Although I can't think of any.
I think maybe possibly did some stunt choreography in this as well.
So that's a tricky one because my instinct is to go with stunt woman because I don't think we've done a stunt woman before. I don't think we've done anyone in stunts before.
And the stunts in this film were good. Lack of CGI. I like that they were all stunt people. Lots of falling and grunting and jumping.
I'm going to go with the stunt woman. What's the stunt woman's name again?
Nina Armstrong.
We're going to go with Nina Armstrong for our next episode. And what film will we be watching, Elsa?
We will be watching 2021's Cruella.
Oh.
So there are like two from 2021 that I chose and then another one from 2014. So yes, you chose one of the most modern ones. I haven't seen this film.
I haven't seen this either.
So I haven't heard bad things. It's like an origin story of Cruella. To be fair,
it's one of those films where I saw the trailer and I was like, I have absolutely no desire whatsoever to see that film. But I have heard pretty positive things about it.
Yeah.
And I do like Emma Stone and I do like Emma Thompson. So
love Emma Thompson.
So we will see next time when we talk about Cruella. Thank you very much.
Emma Thompson, come on the show next week.
Yeah, Emma Thompson. If you're listening, come on.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for listening today. If you like what you hear, then please do subscribe on whatever podcast platform you're on. Share it with your friends. Share it with your family. Share it with people in the street that you don't know. Just shout at them, "What this podcast thing?" And join us next time.
Yeah. Oh no, Rita Ora. She's just knocked on the door. Rita, you're too late again. God damn it. Next week, Rita, go away.
Thank you for listening.
Thanks, guys.
And goodbye.